welcome back to the Electric Bee Tula Pink quilt along for 2025, where we are quilting through Tula Pink's 100 Modern Quilt Blocks in 2025. So my last video, I introduced the project and kind of just got us all excited to start, and then I thought I'd begin with fabric selection, because that's the first thing you need to decide, is what fabric are you going to be using for this project. Now, my first recommendation, especially if you're an experienced sewer, is to use your scraps. These are perfect for scraps. There's fairly small pieces in a lot of the blocks, so you can really pull from what you have and make a beautiful quilt. Tula has some amazing examples of quilts in here, and all of them use kind of different colors. So I will show this page. So when you're thinking about what kind of quilt you want to make, think about who this is for, where it's going to go, and what the aesthetic is. Also, what size are you looking for, right? So for example, if you're looking for a quilt to be on your bed, think about what size bed you have. Do you have a king size bed? Do you have a queen size bed? What are the colors in your room? Do you like bright colors? Are you more muted tones? Like, what would really go well in your space? And then from then, kind of think about it. So for example, this quilt right here, this is the setting that I'm going to make for my husband. So it is a queen size quilt, and she did it in a rainbow ombre, which I love very, very much, but not so much my husband. And it's going to be going in our bedroom, so I'm choosing more muted colors and things that he would like, but using that setting. This one she has is more monochromatic, so this one is all done in grays and whites. I apologize if I'm looking down, that's where my monitor is. And then this one she did in a lot of greens. And I believe, well, if there's pictures of the other ones. There's 5 settings in total in this book. Oh, here's just another close-up picture of the one that's done in green. So again, really think about, what are you doing? Who's it going to? Is it for, your child? Is it for your neighbor? Where is this going? What is it going to be used for? And that will help with the selection. But I think that scraps are probably your best bet, or some sort of fabric bundle to at least get you started with color. So I'll start off with what I personally am doing. I'm going to make 2. So for the sake of this quilt along, I wanted to give you guys an example of one that was using a fabric collection and one that's using scraps. So for the fabric collection, I will be using this bundle that I purchased from Fat Quarter Shop. So this is, it's called Oak and Maple by Janet Ray Nesbitt for Henry Glass Fabrics. He picked it out, well, I picked it and he approved it. And it is beautiful, just like your olivey greens, your nice maroons and golds, very much his aesthetic. And so this will be the starting off point for his quilt. I don't think I'm going to go in sort of like a rainbow like she has with her setting. I think I'm going to mix it all up within the blocks. That's another thing to think about. Are you going to have your blocks be monochromatic or mix everything up within each block? I think for Jeremy, I'm going to mix things up within the blocks just to make it have a bit more movement, and plus these fabrics are just beautiful. Now, I am not entirely sure. The book is not written such to give you fabric requirements, so I'm not exactly sure how much of this bundle I'll be using. I think this has, gosh, I don't even know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This has 20 fat quarters. I think this will be more than enough fabric to at least get me started. And I think I can find fabrics within this color family if this collection happens to be sold out by the time that I'm doing the blocks. So I think I'm going to be just fine. I think this will be great for 100 blocks. And then we'll talk about setting fabrics in a little bit. But then let's talk about mine. So for myself, I'm going to make one from my Tula Pink scraps. So this is just a tub where I keep, this is all Tula Pink. This is only some of my Tula Pink scraps. I have actually quite a bit more, but these are all like the small pieces. And so I keep them all, as you can see, in rainbow order. These are some of the bigger pieces. Like this is some like scrap 108 that's in the back. That's cutoffs from quilts that I've made. And so I'm going to pull from here and then, also pull from my stash. But I'm going to use exclusively Tula Pink fabrics and again, pull from my stash. I think for that, the blocks, I'm going to make monochromatic. So I'm going to stay kind of within a color family at least. And we'll just see kind of how it goes. I think I'm going to kind of follow along with her. For myself, so for my husband, I'm making the cover quilt, which just has one background as the setting. For myself, where is it? I will be making this setting. So as you can see, each block is bordered, and then there's also a background. So you don't have to select your background and your setting right now. You can just make the 100 blocks. In fact, you actually don't even need to make 100 blocks. You can make 20 blocks and turn it into a table runner. You can make 1 block and make a pot holder. It really doesn't matter. But it's important to at least start to think about these things while you're planning this project, to at least have that idea in your mind, and it'll help you kind of, formulate what's going on. So, as I said, I think for mine, I'm going to be using the white fairy flakes as the background. And then for the frames that go around, Tula Pink just announced that she's coming out with new true colors. There's some new prints. So I think I'm going to pick one of those to do all the frames. But I haven't picked which one yet. But I think I'm going to use the white as the background. I think that'll look really pretty. For my husband's, I'm going to be using this. So this, it looks solid on camera, but it's not. It's one of the French General basics, and it kind of looks like linen. Like it has lines on it like it's linen. And it's like a creamy color, and I think it's going to look great. So I have that all set up. That's what I am going to be doing, but let's talk through just some other ideas and some other fabric that I kind of had pulled just to kind of, get your gears going, thinking what type of quilt you're going to make. So, some really good options. You go seasonal. So this is obviously Christmas. So this is called, I think it's called Kitty Christmas by Urban Chicks. So this actually just came out this year. It's super cute. It has all the kitties. And I got this actually to go with a different project. But this would make a really, really cute Christmassy bundle or Christmassy quilt. This would be great to do like a lap quilt, put a minky on the back, snuggle up by the fire. Be really fun. This is a fat 8th bundle. I think you would run out of fabric. I think fat quarters is really going to be your friend here, but maybe you could make it out of fat 8ths. I'm not sure. I haven't actually made these blocks yet, so how would I know? But Urban Chicks does a lot of like similar colors every year. So if you had, stuff from last year's collection, you could build it in. But a really pretty Christmas quilt. Come on. That'd be beautiful. And then, of course, along the same lines, you could go Halloween. Because, my opinion, Halloween is, top tier holiday. So this is Tiny Frights by Ruby Star Society. This is a fat quarter bundle. And look how pretty that would be. With the purples and the creams and some oranges and blacks. I really think you could make a pretty quilt out of this. Especially if you chose kind of like a cream or a black to use as the background. And then, tried to focus, more of the color in the blocks. I think it would look really stunning. And even if you did, the setting that I'm choosing with the borders around it, if you did that scrappy, so you did not all the borders, not all the same, but you chose like 1 or 2 of these fabrics and made it kind of more scrappy. Like this uses neon pink. I don't know if it's going to show up on this camera, but you could do neon pink and it would be really pretty. So again, you can make yourself a really nice Halloween quilt. Just saying. I love Halloween. So that's another option. Yet another option would be to go with solids. So this is a solid bundle from Free Spirit. These are Tula Pink solids. And you could make a really pretty quilt using solids. I think solids are often like the underdogs. I think they can look really pretty and can make amazing quilts, but people don't think to use them all that often. So I recommend digging out your solids. This could be a really good and fun quilt to use those for. And then finally, I showed you a lot of collections that use a lot of color, but you could always go the monochromatic route. So, this is just a selection of purple fat quarters from Tula Pink. I know, I love Tula Pink. I have a lot of Tula Pink fabric. I'm going to be showing a lot of Tula Pink. Tula, I love you. And so anyway, so it could be fun if you did fully monochromatic, right? Like pick all the purples, all the blues, all the everything, and made just a stunning, monochromatic quilt. Love it. Love it. All right, and then finally, again, let's talk about through a little bit of background. So I showed you, the one that I'm going to be using, which is like a light. This is her Fairy Flakes pattern, which I love that fabric. I'm using more of a solid for my husband's. Speckled. This is Ruby Star Society Speckled. Really pretty. This one has metallic, but not all of them do. This is a gray color. I've used this actually as a background in a few different quilts. Love it. Love it very much. It looks great. But then I also encourage you to go crazy. Who says you need to have a nice neutral as a background, right? You could go nuts. I almost actually considered doing this as my background. But this is a Ruby Star. If you know me, I love banana fabric. In fact, that's a video idea that I have coming up, is to show you all the banana fabric I own. But this is one from Ruby Star Society, and of course it's bananas. So that could also be a fun background for this. So have fun with it. I would say probably starting off point is at least 10 fat quarters, but probably more for whatever quilt setting they're going to be using. So just, think about it, have a starting off point, but know you might need to add to it. Let's see. Again, you will have the option of not making all 100 blocks. You could make 20, you could make 2, you could make, really whatever you want. You could make a mini quilt and only make, 9, do a 3x3 setting. That would look really pretty. So again, these are 6-inch finish, so they're not all that big, so you can really go crazy. I just really welcome you to, try out quilting and, have fun with me. All right, the last thing I wanted to talk to you, sorry, I'm looking at my notes, is how to prepare your fabric. Now you can, go right ahead, get the bundle, cut right into it, and start sewing. Not my preferred. I'm a big fan of Kimberly Jolly at Fat Quarter Shop, and she always starches. I started starching when I made my Nebula quilt many years ago, back in 2020, and I really haven't looked back since. So every quilt that I make, I starch. What starching does, and this is the starch I have been using, so this is actually the Heavy Finish by Faultless. I get it on Amazon. Pretty exciting. It gives the fabric stiffness, and I find that when I'm piecing, really holds up, but again, this is optional. And this is the Heavy Finish. I go pretty light with it, just a little bit of a spritz. The one thing I will say is this will shrink your fabric a little bit. So for example, with my husband's fabric, is now that I have filmed this video, I will take it, I will wash, I will not wash it, but I will starch it, and then it will be ready to go, so then it's already shrunk for me to sew it together. If you're a pre-washer, my mother, she's a pre-washer. She washes everything. That's great. Make sure that you're doing that. I'm a starcher, and, that all works too. So just think about it. Fabric has obviously gotten a lot better over the years, but if you're using something with a lot of reds like this, pre-washing might be your option. Of course, this is a high-quality cotton, and I've never actually seen bleeding myself, but I know it does occur. So that's the fabric choices. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or you want to post about what fabrics you're choosing, please use the hashtag and post them on Instagram, or leave your comments below here on YouTube. I'm really excited for this to come together and to see you all in 2025 as we sew together. So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.